Good morning, everyone. This is Neil Richardson. I would like to call the St. Louis Development Corporation regularly scheduled board meeting to order on July 20th, 2023 at 8:01 a.m. Can I please have a roll call vote? A roll call, please.
Sure. Director Gilbert,
Here.
Director McBride,
Here.
Director Reed,
Here.
Alderwoman Clark Hubbard,
Here.
and Chair Richardson.
Present. With 5 Board of Directors being present, we have a quorum. The first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the June 15th, 2023 regular board meeting that was held via Zoom. Any comments, questions, debate about the minutes? Hearing none, I would like to seek a motion to approve the minutes from the June 15, 2023 regular board meeting.
So move, Gilbert.
Second, McBride.
Motion has been moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Director Gilbert,
Aye.
Director McBride,
Aye.
Director Reed,
Aye.
Alderwoman Clark Hubbard,
Aye.
and Chair Richardson.
Aye. Aye votes, the motion passes to approve the minutes from the June 15, 2023 regular board meeting. The first resolution that we have before you today is resolution number 23 SLDC 899, approving and authorizing a memorandum of understanding by and between the St. Louis Development Corporation and the Mississippi River Cities and Towns Initiative. For the presentation today, we'll pass it over to the Director of our Port Authority, Ms. Susan Taylor.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Susan Taylor, as USAID Director of the Port Authority. Mississippi River Cities and Towns Initiative is an advocacy group that was formed a little over 10 years ago. They have offices here in our suite, and the group represents mayors up and down the main stem of the Mississippi River. There's 124 cities on that main stem, of which about 103, I think, are currently members. And the members have a meeting in Washington in March of every year to talk to our congressional delegation about issues of importance to the river city mayors. So that includes things like pollution, recreation, preventing the deleterious effects of floods and droughts. And then we have a meeting in September in a member city. It's been in St. Louis a few times. And this fall, we're going to Bemidji, Wisconsin. The executive director, as a Port Authority, I have found the MRCTI to be a very helpful organization. Colin, the Wellenkamp, the executive director, is very knowledgeable about river issues, about politics, how government works. And so I find him a great resource. He is here this morning remotely. I believe Colin is here. Yes, and so he would like to address the commission. Would the commission like to hear what he has to say?
Yes, please move forward, Colin.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm sorry I'm not on video. I'm driving and got not so great reception out here in Iowa. I may lose you, but I wanted to just say thank you for considering the renewal of our MOU with SLDC. We have had a great partnership since 2015 and 2014. And in that time, we've been able to onboard grants for the city, bring 2 annual meetings to the city, as well as a host of economic development opportunities. Currently, we're managing a $500,000 EPA grant with the city of St. Louis, as well as deploying several plastic waste reduction projects through the north side of the city and on the east side of the city. And we are currently engaged in deploying natural infrastructure projects on the other side of the river to reduce flooding and reduce climate impacts.
He's on mute.
Colin, you
You
want
just-
to mute?
You just muted yourself, Colin.
And then he dropped off.
Yeah, things dropped off.
If I could jump into the breach here unless he comes back on. So the purpose of this resolution is to, as he said, to renew the MOU. And every member city pays dues to be part of MRCTI. We do not pay dues in exchange for giving Colin 2 small offices and the use of things like printers and things like that, mail receipt. And so my recommendation would be to approve this resolution.
Thank you, Susan, for that presentation and overview. I know MRCTI has been a great partner with the City of St. Louis, SLDC, as well as the Port Authority across several administrations, starting with Mayor Slay and his leadership, working across the country with mayors up and down the Mississippi. I know, I think it was late last year, we were able to kick off City Park with the presentation with mayors that are members of MRCTI, really bringing them to St. Louis, highlighting our Port Authority, and really discussing the purpose and the power of the Mississippi, and as it relates to transportation and logistics, as well as being an economic development hub for the country. The port is very important, and the Mississippi is critical to the success of the overall city. So if there are no other questions, comments, I would like to entertain a motion to approve resolution number 23, SLDC 899.
I just have one comment,
Yes, please.
Chairman,
Yes,
that I think that it's also just important to note that the MRCTI gives a unified voice to Congress as to the management of the Mississippi River. And
That's correct.
that it's important to have a single voice to Congress rather than a fractionalized voice. And this involves both large cities, small towns, and then make a point of assuring that the leadership of MRCTI is comprised of both a mayor of a larger city as well as a mayor of a smaller town, all of which are resting upon the banks of the Mississippi. So it's a good, it serves a great function, it serves an equitable function, and I think it definitely advances both the city and the region. So I'm fully in support of it and move to adopt resolution 23 SLDC 899.
thank you, Director McBride, for those comments. Do I have a second to approve that motion?
Second, Gilbert.
With the motion and a second, can I have a roll call vote?
Director Gilbert,
Aye.
Director McBride,
Aye.
Director Reed. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard
Aye.
and Chair Richardson.
Aye. Thought I votes, the motion passes to approve resolution number 23 SLDC 899. The next item on the agenda is resolution number 23 SLDC 900, authorizing extension of a contract with Candid LLC for marketing, branding, and communications. To kick off this presentation, we'll pass it over to the Vice President of Strategic Partnerships and Initiatives, Mr. Stephen Davis.
Thank you, Chairman Richardson, and good morning, everyone. As Chairman Richardson mentioned, this resolution authorizes renewal of a contract with Candid LLC to provide marketing, branding, and communication services for SLDC for the upcoming fiscal year, for the fiscal year 2024. I think everyone's fairly familiar with the work that Candid does, but just a quick background. A new phase is needed so Candid can continue to support SLDC and its agencies and provide support for the 12 major boards that SLDC staffs. So I think with that, I'll turn it over to Sarah Freely to give a quick overview of Exhibit A and the work that they will be doing this upcoming year. And I think we can open it up for questions.
Great. Thank you, Steve, and thank you, Board of Directors. Good morning, everybody. We appreciate the opportunity to be here again and for you all to be considering extending our contract. During the first couple phases of our work, as you all are aware, we established a brand for the organization and really built the foundation and the groundwork for a solid marketing and communications program, and have really increased the proactivity of the amount of communications that are coming out around the organization and all of the great work that it's doing in the community. And so we really feel like we're moving into a more of a proactive phase now, launching a multimedia campaign actually just this week, which has been in the works for a few months when we've talked to you all about it over the last couple of months. But we're very, very excited. And hopefully you have seen as you're driving around town, there are 3 large billboards up, 2 on I-70 and 1 on I-64. And there are 8 posters around North City. So those are a little bit smaller. Those are really focusing on the work and the tools that SLDC offers, the resources available through the Northside Economic Empowerment Center. And some just, some really general awareness things. Also, there are interior bus cards. There are 300 of them on the De Bolivar route, garage route. So those are all kind of the same messaging. And then also we launched this week TV spots on Fox 2 KPLR, which we're extremely excited about. And then the first segment of Positively St. Louis, which is a custom news package that will be aired on Fox 2 KPLR on the 28th, which is next Friday. And that will be an ongoing monthly segment, along with some radio spots on WSIE. So we are really excited about this proactive campaign. This is a great step in starting to shift the narrative around St. Louis into a much more positive story. We really, really feel like the time is right, and it is right to really put positive messaging out. So those things are really exciting. The Fox 2 spot is available on the SLDC YouTube channel, as is and it's on the website as well. And then that campaign, that's just our first step. So we will continue to monitor that campaign monthly and look at the measurements, make sure the metrics are working, make sure the messages are resonating, and that will constantly be shifting. So every month, that campaign message is going to be different. So I think we're going to focus on the Northside Economic Empowerment Center for August, and then we'll look into doing some features on Project Connect. When the down payment assistance program is ready to roll out this fall, that will be a feature. So we'll really continue to customize the content, create new content for that campaign, and monitor and track metrics and measurement around that. So in addition to that, we'll continue the regular work that we do every month, every week, every day for SLDC, social media, public relations, fielding media inquiries, keeping website up to date, ongoing, social media, all of those wonderful things, partnering with all of the departments in the team. So we appreciate the opportunity. We'll have a focus on some internal communication, working with the team to really build a nice infrastructure to keep the team up to date and keep those brand champions informed and educated of all of the wonderful things the organization is doing, so that interdepartmental communications is improved. Also working with building out the Economic Justice Accelerator platform, which will be a public-facing, consumer-friendly way for folks to access the information and the programs that we're rolling out this year. So again, appreciate the opportunity. Welcome any questions, comments, and look forward to continuing our solid partnership throughout the fiscal year 24.
And I just want to say, Sarah, Becky, Julie, and the Candid team has provided an immense level of support, not just for me as the brand ambassador for SLDC, as it relates to responding to press inquiries, being able to be prepared for any media relations, comments or appearances in order to raise the profile and brand of the St. Louis Development Corporation, as we are also looking to do more business retention, expansion, and attraction, not just locally, but nationally, to attract businesses to the city of St. Louis. They've been instrumental in preparing, not just me, but our staff for those opportunities, seeking those opportunities out, as well as really just ensuring that, we have a strategic communications and marketing plan that's integrated across multiple platforms and multiple channels. As Sarah spoke to, we've done some more guerrilla type marketing in community, just to ensure that they're aware of the programs and products that we're offering, as well as the good work that our staff is doing by investing in the projects across the city. But in addition to that, we've had some noticeable improvements in the engagement on social media across all of the social media platforms, ranging from Instagram to LinkedIn to Twitter to Facebook. And as you can see within Exhibit B here, directors, the majority of the fees associated with this contract are actual production. And you see the fees at the top that Candid charges just for their time and kind of their commitment to this work across the various platforms, and helping, again, us be responsive and prepared as an organization to share correct information and to combat any misinformation that may be shared in community. So I just want that to be noticed as well. Again, we've decided a couple years ago to move forward with outsourcing our marketing and communications, and the fees associated with this contract is definitely much less than the cost of having an internal department managing this, because we would still incur those additional costs of kind of the, not the administrative fees, but the actual production, the printing, the travel and other things associated with this contract. So I just wanted to make sure that this was transparent. I really appreciate Candid for breaking that budget out and providing us with that information. So with that, I'll open it up to the directors to ask of any questions to the Candid team. Okay, Director McBride.
Oh, thank you. Our last extension to the Candid contract, when did or does that expire?
It expired on June 30th. It was with the fiscal 2023 fiscal year. I believe it was approved officially in November of 2022. And then in May, you heard the ARPA contract, which was a completely separate solicitation and contract process that we went through.
And how much was the Candid fee for the previous contract, not the ARPA contract, but the previous contract?
Yep, fiscal year 2023 was, our base fee was 300,000. So you can see a decrease in that. Although the work product and the increase in our work product, if we tracked our hour, if we really tracked our hours like we should be, it would have been way over that. But again, we've got it down to a flow. So we felt like it was an honest and transparent thing to decrease that fee and continue to put additional funds into the production and the implementation scope.
And this is hitting on that, this is a flat fee, not an hourly fee, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we would never bill additional overage unless it was something way out of the scope and we had a previous conversation with the team before we incurred anything.
And I note that part of your budget like includes the mayor's business lunch, and
Right.
you know that's something that clearly predated Candid's engagement with SLDC, and is something that it's an SLDC program rather than just a simple marketing
Correct.
program, I think.
Yes.
How much do you expend in travel and things of that last line item?
I think it was around $8,500 last year, but that included not just travel, but subscriptions for the email platform that SLDC uses for its weekly email blast, using Hootsuite for social media. There's several other just marketing tool subscription things that we utilize, SurveyMonkey, just a plethora of things that we utilize to help the team just be more efficient. So that's kind of our contingency fee. And I also, as our relationship has gotten stronger and as we are ingrained, we aren't in St. Louis as often as we used to be. I mean, we do come for quite a bit of things and when large events happen, but we really try to be as mindful as we can of that. And so much can be done electronically, but there are times
Sure.
that we need to be in person, and that's what we do. So there's some of the travel costs there.
And so aside from your fee, which is a flat fee, are these others not to exceed numbers, or those hard numbers?
Those are estimated numbers based upon what we know is already kind of in the hopper for, producing videos to support the various programs. We know that the learning portal is a high priority to produce videos around SLDC's core programs that the mayor would like us to do, as well as at the direction of Neil. So those are kind of estimated numbers based upon production of video and those kinds of things. And then the media plan that rolls over, it straddles both fiscal year 23 and 24. So those are pretty close estimates to what it'll probably end up being at the end of the year, but our total not to exceed number is the 680,000 for the entire campaign.
Okay, that's all the questions I have at this time, Chair.
Great. Thank you.
Any other questions from directors? The last thing I would ask for Sarah and Becky to speak to is your partnerships with local vendors here in St. Louis, understanding that you're not, 100% here, but I feel like I talk to you all more than I talk to most of the staff members. So if you could talk a little bit about those partnerships, of how you work on the ground to ensure that, we stay engaged with community.
Yes, we have amazing partnerships with local firms that are also actually all W and MBE certified firms as well. Eagle Productions is an amazing partner for us. They do video production. They also pinch hit and do a lot of some of the feature writing, and they contact folks and are on the ground and produce videos and the feature stories on some of the small business grant winners that you've seen and the LRA programs. And they're really a great partner for us. Work as an extension of our team, which is then an extension of your team as well. They're phenomenal. We've also been working with MoveWorth on the digital side. Bill Ray, he is also an MBE. He's been amazing. He helped us implement the St. Louis retail campaign that we did at the ICSC event. Also, just actually getting off the ground at the North Side Economic Empowerment Center, a project with Life Inspirations, which we've been dying to work with Anika Porter pretty much since we've been working with SLDC. So we're excited about that partnership, as well as Janetta Hawkins with, she's a special event planner and absolutely amazing small business owner who, again, really, is able to be kind of feet on the street for us when we're looking at event space and helping plan those things and really make sure that things come together nicely. So we've got a great extended team. I'm probably missing somebody and I apologize to them, but I think we've covered kind of the core group of our partnerships, and we're always looking to extend those partnerships. We actually are trying to schedule a couple of meetings the next time we're in town with some folks who've reached out to us to extend that partnership as well and fill some gaps where we've got work to share, and we certainly want to provide opportunities for other firms to participate in the work.
And just a real quick note, all the media that was placed this flight was through a WBE company called Pierce Media. So we have used NB and WBE firms pretty much for everything outside of what our capabilities are.
Yeah, and we are too also certified WBE firm too.
Right, in the state and with the city of St. Louis.
Awesome. Well, thank you all again. I really appreciate the presentation. Looks like we don't have any other comments. So I would like to entertain a motion to approve resolution number 23 SLDC 900.
So move, Gilbert.
Second, McBride, request previous role.
Previous row has been requested. Any objections, abstentions from previous row? Hearing none, the motion passes to approve resolution number 23 SLDC 900 per requested previous row. The next item on the agenda is resolution number 23 SLDC 901, authorizing an extension of a contract with Levy Consulting Services for internal operations consulting. I pass it over to our Vice President of Strategic Partnerships and Initiatives, once again, Mr. Stephen Davis, to kick off the presentation.
Thank you again, Chairman Richardson, and good morning again, everyone. So again, this resolution authorizes SLDC to extend an agreement with Levy Consulting Services to implement recommendations that resulted from an internal review of SLDC operations. So again, really what this extension is about is moving from a discovery phase to more of an implementation phase. Some quick background on Levy Consulting. 2022, they were hired to evaluate SLDC's existing strategies and practices as they relate to internal processes and procedures. So for the prior 10 months, Levy Consulting has conducted interviews to identify barriers to employee productivity and increase employee engagement. They've made key recommendations on SLDC's organizational structure, creating clarity on employees' roles, and they have also helped build a positive and inclusive culture at SLDC by being intentional and listening to SLDC employee feedback. They helped plan the employee appreciation event last winter, which was a real hit with everybody. Levy Consulting is also integrated within the broader SLDC team to gain knowledge about processes and areas for improvement. And with this knowledge, they have provided leadership with strategic guidance and problem solving on how to implement best practices within their teams. And they provided advice on key decisions with the overall objective of optimizing operations and supporting the achievement of our institutional goals. So again, this contract will be for a full 12 months. The previous contract was only for 10 months, and the contract is not to exceed $204,000. So with that, I'll turn it over to Levy Consulting to maybe give a quick overview of what's coming up with the implementation phase, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Thank you for that introduction, Steve, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, Board of Directors. I am going to briefly share my screen. I've got a little presentation to assist with my talk. 1 second. Okay. No sound there. Okay, sorry about that.
I know you was giving us a
we are
musical.
talking about a contract extension for fractional COO services for the St. Louis Development Corporation. I will start by just going quickly or briefly through what we have started with in the first stage of our engagement. As you know, Levy Consulting Co. was hired to evaluate SLDC's existing strategies and practices as they relate to internal processes and procedures. This presentation will provide a brief overview of some of the key projects that have been completed from stage 1 of our engagement, and then we will also highlight some of the key objectives for the extension in stage 2. By taking a comprehensive and systematic approach, the goal for the next project phase is to continue to drive long-term growth and stability for the organization while staying agile and responsive to changes in the environment and the needs of the CEO and SLDC staff. After a successful initial engagement, we are fully integrated into SLDC, and we will leverage that broad institutional knowledge that we have garnered over the initial 10 months to drive the initiatives and deliverables highlighted in phase 2. Some of the key completed projects from phase 1 include staff surveys, which we actually expanded beyond the initial scope. So at this point, we've conducted 46 with another 12 currently scheduled. These are not performance reviews. These are platforms for the employees to have a unique and frank discussion with a third-party representative of SLDC, talking about everything from their experiences working at the corporation, their professional and personal goals, and any barriers to productive work that they may be encountering. These interviews have been extremely productive, and we've identified some key projects based on those interviews alone, including the conference room updates, which is an ongoing project for phase 2, changes in some reporting structures, and as well as some just reorganization that informed the organizational chart project that occurred later in the initial engagement. One key element to our initial engagement that was unexpected was the restructuring after a senior leadership position was unexpectedly made vacant, which turned into an opportunity for team growth and development. We aided in restructuring the role and providing a path for greater role clarity organization-wide. And we've also, since that time, filled in the gaps in operational capacity that have resulted from that transition. As Steve discussed earlier, we have made a priority in identifying ways to improve the employee culture at SLDC. Building trust with a team this size is not easy, but between the staff surveys and putting face time in with all of the employees, we have developed a very strong partnership with the organization at large. Some of the key initiatives that you've already heard about include an employee engagement event, and keeping a recommendation going forward that we will do them quarterly and make frequent opportunities for engaging with our employees. And we've also recommended the creation of some roles in conjunction with the CEO, including the VP of People and Culture, in order to sustain this and other efforts. One of the other key projects from our first phase was the organizational chart. Levy Consulting Co. and actually myself personally spearheaded the development of the fiscal year 24 organizational chart with direct input from the senior vice presidents and the CEO. We led this project from inception to completion, performed analysis of the projected budgetary impacts of the new hires and department restructures with the accounting team to ensure minimal budgetary impact and overrun. And then, of course, we presented the final org chart to the board of directors and SLDC staff for approval in the spring. And this, again, is key projects. There are many other small things that have been happening throughout the course of the past year and things that are ongoing, including this next list of ongoing and upcoming projects that will be the focus of the phase 2 and the contract extension. Number one, and this has been a priority from this Mr. Richardson directly, is the digital transformation of SLDC. This is a very comprehensive project trying to bring SLDC into the modern age as a digital first agency. Some of the key elements of this will include the development of a comprehensive operations handbook, the project of which is already ongoing. This will be a very comprehensive book, department specific, of how SLDC operates from top to bottom, and it will be accessible as a in a digital format, which will be, I think, a very powerful tool going forward. Related to that, we're also looking into the development of an intranet. This will be a key resource for not only operations, but also for human resources, employee communication, engagement, and just another wonderful step to bring SLDC into the modern office age. And then we're evaluating other necessary systems as that project evolves. We are also developing and managing the rollout of a digital training modules program in conjunction with Candid. That project is ongoing, and we are making some excellent progress with that. We will be establishing a framework for the operations department, because again, we aren't going to be here forever. And part of what we are doing over the next year is setting up SLDC for success when Levy Consulting Co.'s engagement has come to its conclusion. So we'll be building out the framework for the department, building internal capacity around operations, and potentially beginning the hiring process and training as the timeline allows. Ongoing, of course, but continuing, we will be doing managing of the Salesforce development with the VP of Strategic Partnerships and Initiatives. That project has made a lot of great strides. We've developed the portal is now public facing and interactive. Really, it's just a wonderful project. Lots of work still to be done, but very happy with the progress on that and looking forward to continue. We will also continue supporting SLDC staff on major projects where there are gaps in capacity. This includes work with the Senior Vice President of Human Resources on confidential HR matters and other high priority projects as identified by the CEO. And then finally, at least as a high level overview, we'll be managing the rollout of major conference room technology improvements. I am happy to report that this project is significantly under budget and on schedule. We've already contracted with a company to begin sourcing all of the projects. There's a lot of lead time on some of these technical pieces that need to be shipped in, but we're very excited to bring our conference rooms up to a modern and functional state. And we've also identified a couple of stopgap solutions, including an OWL conferencing system that will keep our meeting quality very high while we work on improving the conference facilities at large. That is what I have prepared, and I would be happy to answer any questions or expand on any of these topics.
So, Jonathan, I really appreciate that presentation and the hard work that you and the consulting team has put forward. One of the things I want to highlight here, very similar to what I stated about the marketing communications team, very shortly after my tenure began here at SLDC, our director of HR and operations resigned from the organization. And instead of just moving forward with bringing on a new director of operations, I really seen it as an opportunity for us to evaluate and assess the current efficiencies of the St. Louis Development Corporation, as well as areas for improvement as it relates to operations ensuring that we have internal policies and processes documented to ensure consistency across the agency. One of the things that I want to continue to reinforce is that there needs to be consistency across all departments and direction around how we address procurement, compliance, and other matters as we are managing public dollars as well as general operating dollars that are received through the activities performed by SLDC. And so for all of our staff members, whether they are managing grants or they managing the procurement process or not, they have a clear understanding around how SLDC operates. It provides an opportunity for transparency and also holds each one of us accountable. So when we have clear policies and processes documented and they are followed or not followed, we can ensure that, again, we're holding people accountable to that. And so that's really where the Levy team has provided the greatest support. The handbook is going to be critical to be able to share more widely across the agency and ensuring that, again, we have some consistency. Also, as we have almost 20 new programs that we are standing up through the American Rescue Plan Act and other public funding, I know the Levy team has been working very closely with Lorna and her team on compliance to ensure that we have documented processes that can be shared with our partners at CDA, as well as the Treasury and the Mayor's Office, to show that we have documented processes and procedures and stopgaps in place to ensure that we are monitoring the progress of these programs in a very diligent way. And as you all know, we've launched the Economic Justice Action Plan in September of 2022, which required a restructure of our organization to meet those ambitious goals that were set out within that plan. And we're continuing to modify that organizational chart and structure every day to ensure that our team is operating efficiently to meet those goals. And one of the last things I wanted to highlight was the digital first approach. I know, again, we work with city government very closely, but that does not mean that we cannot have the latest and greatest technology as an agency. And so that's what I'm striving for, is to ensure that as the community, as the public engages SLDC, they will not just see us as a governmental agency or a supportive governmental agency, that we are top, cutting edge, innovative around how we're thinking through incentives, how we're thinking through operations, how we're thinking through our products and programs, being able to have a platform that creates a customer experience that's very engaging, and also being able to direct people to information that they need based on who they are, which is very different from just having a static platform that people just get connected to resources, is actually engaging and robust. So again, Levy is helping, team is helping with much of that work, modification and transformation of SLDC in partnership with Candid. So I just want to ensure that the board of directors understand the support that Candid and Levy has provided over the last year, as well as the direction in which we're looking to move SLDC. So with that, I'll open it up to questions or comments from the directors. Okay. Here, okay, Director McBride.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate what Levy Consulting's done and added to the SLDC, but when do we expect that this will engagement be terminated, and that everything will be completed and we can hand it off to a COO within SLDC?
So the goal is over the next 12 months, as we get through this next fiscal year, for the Levy team to really start thinking through how we onboard a new kind of operations manager, operations department, to help the ongoing management of this work. So the goal is for them to help us with that job description, but also continue to evaluate what are some of the gaps within the operation efficiencies of SLDC today that will prepare us in understanding what type of skills and qualifications the head of that department will need to bring, but also any additional roles that need to be built out to support the ongoing project management and operational support across the agency. So to answer your question, Director McBride, we are planning for by the end of this time next year for us to have a operations department ready to move forward, but it will take some evaluation and some assessment over the next 12 months to get there.
And I think that the last contract with Levy was for probate, not a full 12 months. Does this current contract equate to the same monthly fee as the prior one, or has there been a change in that amount?
I believe it equals. Go ahead, Jonathan. Yep.
I'd be happy to speak to that. You're correct. It was originally in a 10-month engagement. This being a 12-month engagement as a monthly rate, there is a $2,000 increase. The previous monthly rate was $15,000. The new is $17,000. This accounts for the establishment of an additional consultant. The original contract and RFP included just Monique Levy, who's the CEO of our consulting firm, and I was brought on as the operational capacity increased and the need increased. Not included in the original contract. So this second contract establishes a full commitment of 2 consultants at all times. And we've also eliminated the hourly requirement on our end of the not to exceed, because we found that the ebbs and flows of this project demand that we are a little bit more dynamic in how we can approach it. And so the additional $2,000 increase accounts for that, as well as the occasional travel expense, which would all be included. Again, everything that we bill is included in that flat rate.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Okay. Hearing none, I would like to entertain a motion for previous role to approve resolution number 23 SLDC 901.
So move Gilbert.
Do I have a second for previous role?
Second, McBride.
Moved and seconded. I appreciate that. Any objections, abstentions to previous role? Hearing none, the motion passes to approve resolution number 23 SLDC 901. The last item we have for today is open agenda director's report. Sarah, I sent you over a quick slide, but just to give you all a brief highlight, I think was it last week or 2 weeks ago, Steve? All of these weeks kind of merged together. But the St. Louis Development Corporation is represented the city of St. Louis at the Good Jobs, Great Cities Academy that was held by the National League of Cities and the Department of Labor in Washington, D.C. Last week. We had the great opportunity of working closely with Secretary Sue of the Department of Labor, as well as some of the top officials from the Biden-Harris administration, really hearing about their priorities as it relates to infrastructure, CHIPS bill, ARPA, and their priorities, but really understanding how we're going to move the workforce forward in order to achieve their ambitious goals of not just deploying those dollars, but creating good jobs and sustainable jobs through those strategic investments that are happening with this unprecedented federal spending that's happening across cities throughout this country. So it was a great moment in time for some of our staff members, Ms. Stacy Fowler, myself, Steve Davis, Caressa Davis, as well as Shannon Johnson from the St. Louis Agency of Training and Employment, of working together with, again, national leaders to develop a workforce strategy focused on advanced manufacturing. This will move us forward on our economic justice action plan, as one of our core pillars is economic empowerment. And one of the main strategies within that pillar is workforce development, ensuring that our youth, unemployed and underemployed, have access not only to living wage jobs, but to quality, thriving, good jobs. And that's what this initiative is about, building a strategy to bring together regional workforce leaders to ensure that we're aligned on industries that are a priority for our country. And right now, again, advanced manufacturing is at the core of that. And so as we're thinking about the Advanced Manufacturing Innovation Center in North St. Louis City, that's slated to provide research and development, some of the top manufacturers across the country, as well as building a world-class workforce development hub on Martin Luther King Boulevard in North City, and thinking through strategically some of the sites, the industrial sites that we have available. And we need to continue to invest towards site development, remediation, and preparation to be able to market and promote St. Louis on a national level and an international level, really being able to attract the top manufacturers from across the world to St. Louis. This is a start, and this is a good step forward on our journey of really building those relationships, those connections, and really having our finger on the pulse of what's happening across the country to be able to attract dollars to the city that's focused on our priorities, as well as really being able to be a leader globally on advanced manufacturing. So again, this was a great opportunity for us. We want to thank our partners with the mayor's office, as well as Slate, and more to come here, but I definitely wanted to highlight the great work of this team that we put forward and the delegation that we brought to DC. We were greatly represented. So with that, any comments from the directors about the progress that we've made thus far this month as we look forward to moving forward in fiscal year 2024? Okay. Hearing none, I think we got this over in enough time, directors, to get you to your next meetings. So with that, I would like to first recognize that our next regular board meeting is scheduled for Thursday, August 17, 2023 at 8 a.m. And I look forward to seeing you all there via Zoom. With that, I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second, McBride.
Moved and seconded. You all have a great rest of your day and have a terrific weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.